Greetings and welcome to another edition of What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility. I am your host, Pete Pardo. Today is Thursday, April the 28th. As we are approaching March, we've still got a cavalcade of hot new releases coming across our desk. As you know, we cover all the best in progressive rock, all forms of heavy metal, classic rock, jazz, fusion. We kind of do it all here on YouTube a couple times a month, as well as every single day on www.seaoftranquility.org. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. So we're going to kickstart the show today with the latest from American heavy metal legends, Metal Church. Their latest is their 11th release called XI or 11. That's it right there. They've got Mr. Howe back on vocals for the first time in quite a long time, so Kurt Vanderhoof and the band are firing on all cylinders. I mean, this is the best thing they've done in a long, long time. You know, if you're a fan of the first couple albums, Metal Church, Dark, Blessing in Disguise, you're going to love this. Howe sounds great on here. He's just shrieking up a storm. I mean, the guy kind of took quite a few years away from the scene, so obviously his vocals have held up very, very well. And there's just some killer riffs on here, killer tunes that kind of bridge the gap between kind of early thrash and just classic metal. I mean, just listen to some of this here. Vintage metal first, Metal Church, folks. I don't know any other way to say it. So, just one tune after another. I mean, there's some great stuff on here. Shadow is great. Blow Your Mind. Soul Eating Machine, one of my favorite tunes on here. Signal Path is great. Killing Your Time. I mean, it's all good. You know, this tune is Reset that you're listening to right now. A really sinister, heavy tune. So, again, when it's all said and done this year, I'm sure the mighty Metal Church are going to be sitting pretty when it comes to looking at the best releases of the year. So if you're a metal fan, you don't have this, get it. All right, we're going to stick in the U.S. now. I'm going to go to a band that probably a little bit obscure band. I'm sure most of you have not heard of. If you're a fan of psychedelic progressive rock and hard rock, late 60s, 70s style, you'll probably want to check out these guys. They've relocated to California from Iowa. They're called Mondo Drag. The Occultation of Light is their latest. And comes in this cool little digipack. If you love Pink Floyd, The Doors, Jefferson Airplane, Iron Butterfly, maybe a little Hawkwind, kind of cool floating keyboards, some sizzling guitar work, effects-laden vocals, tunes that run the gamut, like I said, between hard rock and prog and psych, and all things in between, a little space rock. I dig this a lot. Really good analog keyboards. Really like it. Their prior album is very, very good as well. So if you like this sort of thing, I highly recommend these guys. Again, it's Mondo Drag, kind of an interesting name for a band, but very cool band. We hope to see more from them in the future. I like that a lot. All right, so now we're going to leave the U.S. We're going to go over to Sweden. Of course, no surprise there. All the best music is coming out of Sweden these days. This is a band called Mangrove, Days of the Wicked. They've got a few albums under their belt. They are a power trio. So what do you think that means? That's right. 70s inspired heavy blues rock. Bits of doom. If you love, all those great bands of the 70s, Cactus and Zeppelin and Purple and Sabbath and Mountain, Humble Pie, maybe bits of Pentagram, all that sort of thing. You will absolutely dig this. Maybe a little Cream. Blistering, crunchy, fuzz-laden, bluesy guitar work, great, emotional vocals, killer grooves. I just, can't say enough about this. If you like that sort of thing, if you love 70s bluesy, hard rock, early doom, all that kind of stuff, this is the shit right here, folks. I really dig this band a lot, Mangrove. Like I said, they got a couple albums under their belt. This is, of course, from our friends on the Transubstance Records roster. Transubstance is always putting out a lot of great stuff. This is no exception. So, Days of the Wicked. Highly, highly, highly recommend this. We're going to stay in Scandinavia, okay? So, if you're a progressive metal fan, You obviously know of the band Circus Maximus, okay? It's been a few years since their last album, I think 4 to be exact. So their latest is called Havoc. They now find themselves on Frontiers Records. There's that lovely little set here, you know, open it up. Okay, comes with bonus material there, bonus DVD. And, you know, these guys, over the course of their fairly short career, they haven't been around that long, they've got a handful of albums out. You know, at first they did a very good kind of Dream Theater-ish form of progressive metal, soaring vocals, superb instrumentation, heavy, lots of musical interplay. They've kind of, over the last couple of releases, their sound has become a little more accessible. They're less on the kind of Dream Theater side of things and more finding their own niche. So lots of great pop hooks. Vocals are just off the charts great. Music is heavy in spots, but overall very progressive. Bits of pop elements, but, you know, very musical. Like I said, lots of hooks. It's catchy. Great guitar work, great keyboard work, intricate grooves. You know, these guys are like the total package. They kind of do it all. So if you like progressive metal, but don't necessarily like some of the bands that go off into, you know, what some people call wankery or, you know, noodling and all that kind of stuff, too much solos and all that kind of thing, you like more song-based approach, Circus Maximus is the band for you from Norway. Check it out. All right, some archival stuff, live releases, books, Blu-rays, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to go into next. So we talked about this. I mentioned this one last week. We were going to discuss it. So the Mighty Rainbow, okay, Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow. You all know who they are. I mean, had various vocalists over the course of their career, starting out with Ronnie James Dio, then Graham Bonnet briefly, and then Joe Lynn Turner, and then eventually, you know, they reformed with Doogie White briefly. So we're going to go back to 1980 when they headlined at the Castle Donington Festival in the UK, Monsters of Rock, also called. So here we have a live Rainbow release from that show with Mr. Graham Bonnet on vocals. Of course, he appeared on the Down to Earth album. So this is a DVD and CD set. It's kind of interesting. So you've got, if you look, I mean, you probably can't see that, but you know, the tracks are different on both the CD and DVD, other than some overlap. So it's almost like they filmed part of it, but not the whole thing. So you've got what looks like most of the set on the CD, and then a selection of it on the DVD, but there's also some tunes on the DVD that are not on the CD. So either way, it's very cool stuff. You know, it's kind of cool to hear a live Graham Bonnet, you know, set from his brief time in Rainbow. He obviously, if you listen to this and watch it, you can tell he looks like he was having a pretty good time being up there in front of all those people. I think he was tipping back a little before the show, but it's all fun. They cover a wide variety of selections from the Dio years, as well as the Down to Earth album, as well as a few other surprises. Yeah, these are from our folks at Eagle Rock. Very, very good stuff. Yeah, we're going to stay on Eagle Rock now. We're going to stay with Mr. Blackmore. So this actually came out a couple months ago. We forgot to mention it when it first came out, but it is the Blu-ray release of the Ritchie Blackmore story. Okay, kind of chronicles the entire career of the Man in Black and what he's brought to the table of hard rock and metal since he first burst on the scene as a studio musician in the early to mid-'60s, and of course, you know, went on to fame and fortune with Deep Purple, and then Rainbow, then Deep Purple again, and now he's been with his wife in Blackmore's Night. So this kind of covers it all. You got, you know, personal interviews with Ritchie, sitting down, sipping some beer or wine, telling his story. You've got many interviews with various other people who have been involved in either Purple or Rainbow or Blackmore's Night over the years, and lots of concert footage mixed in throughout. You know, if you love Blackmore, you probably already have this. If you love Blackmore and you don't have it, you should get it. It belongs in every Blackmore's fan collection. I'm one of them, folks. My favorite player of all time. So, yeah, really, really cool. I'm going to switch over to a book now. So this is the latest music book from the famous Martin Popoff, who has been, in the past, was affiliated briefly with SOT. Over the years, he's done lots of work with Brave Words and Bloody Knuckles. That's where most of you know him from. He's released a ton of really, really good books on various bands and eras of hard rock and metal. This is his first stab at a prog band, so it's called Time in a Word, The Yes Story. I love the cover, but interesting how they would put a picture on here with Patrick Moraz who appeared on the Relayer album. That was it. So, but it is a great shot. I would have thought they would have had a picture with the era of the band was Rick Wakeman, but whatever. But anyway, very, very good book. He kind of looks at the whole career of Yes, a lot of album-by-album analysis, tons of interviews that he's conducted over the years, and there's other content in here from other writers, yours truly, as well as some other SOT folks. So this is a really good book that kind of culls information about Yes from all over, as well as a ton of material from Martin himself, and it goes right up to the point where the late Chris Squire had contracted cancer. So it's pretty up to date. So good stuff. Some photographs in there throughout as well. So it's a good read if you're a Yes fan. Last but not least, our final feature of the day is, of course, Forgotten Favorites. Now, here's a little different one for today. So this particular release that I'm going to talk about, I had never heard before up until a couple of months ago. Quite frankly, I don't remember ever hearing about this band. But since I've picked this up recently, I can see why this is forgotten for a lot of people, and it's instantly become a favorite of mine. So I'm talking about new wave of British heavy metal act Savage and their Loose and Lethal, which was their full-length debut back in 1983, I believe. Again, never heard of this band before until recently. Really, really love it. This is raw, in-your-face, raucous, new wave of British heavy metal. I mean, there's no other way to say it, but it's just, you know, these guys are heavier than Def Leppard, probably heavier than Satan, heavier than Demon, more fast and rip-roaring than Diamond Head. Just, the production is very raw. Distorted guitars, you know, frantic rhythms, high-pitched vocals, you know, just really good. The tunes are just kick-ass. Letting Loose, Cry Wolf, Dirty Money, On the Rocks, great tune. I mean, just top to bottom, The Devil Take You. If you can find this, get it. If you love that early 80s metal, specifically the metal that came out of the UK, otherwise known as the new wave of British heavy metal, I think you'll really dig this. I don't know how this escaped me all these years. It's a friggin' mystery. So anyway, that's our Forgotten Favorites of today. So it's Savage, Loose and Lethal. It's lethal, folks. Trust me. So with that, we're going to leave you. Kind of a shorter show today, but we got some great stuff lined up for you next week. We've got a bunch of new releases from the Nightmare Records label that I want to talk to you about, as well as some other stuff. So tune in next time to What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility. Once again, I'm your host, Pete Pardo, CEO and publisher of SOT. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, and we're here a few times a month on the mighty YouTube. So till then, be safe, investigate all this great new music. Don't forget the classics. See you next time.